Hey everyone, welcome back to A History of Horror. We started covering the Universal monsters with Dracula, and then later moved on to Frankenstein, the Mummy, Bride of Frankenstein, and then finally the Wolfman. This brings us to the last Universal monster to gain widespread notoriety, 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon, directed by Jack Arnold. It's a suiting end to the Universal monster cycle, and it fits well with the rest of the B-movies that came out in the 1950s. As I mentioned in the last two episodes, following World War II, classic movie monsters weren't that scary anymore. With the new atomic age, audiences were more terrified of what people could actually do to one another. This new anxiety opened the door to the science fiction B-movie era. During this time, we would have monsters that came from nuclear radiation, science experiments gone horribly wrong, and a plethora of invaders from outer space. The movie begins as a group of scientists discover a fossil that they believe may hold the link between aquatic life forms and those that live on land. They decide to search the Amazon in hopes to find another fossil just like it. The expedition is led by Dr. David Reed, played by Richard Carlson. They also bring along David's love interest Kay, played by the beautiful Julie Adams, but I'll talk more about her later. As the group sails down the river, they're stalked by the creature, or the Gillman as he's called by most people. We don't actually see Gillman for most of the movie, but they loved filming shots of his hand. I guess they thought the movie would be more suspenseful if they kept building up the monster like that, but to be honest, I think they overplayed the technique a bit. Yep, there's the sand again. Soon, the creature starts killing off members of the crew.
There's only one explanation. The country is full of wild animals.
I think maybe jaguar. Jaguar's claws. They rip like this.
At first they think it's a jaguar or some kind of predator, and instead of seeing this as a sign that they should turn back, they continue their journey into the jungle. When they finally encounter the Gillman, all hell breaks loose, and the monster starts taking a liking to Kay, because why the hell not? That tends to be what monsters do in these situations. He manages to kidnap her, and the crew has to go on a rescue mission to save her. The monster is played by two actors, Ben Chapman and Rico Browning, with Browning playing all the roles underwater. It's interesting to point out that he didn't have an oxygen tank or anything like that, so sometimes he would have to hold his breath for several minutes at a time. The plot and the characters remind me of Anaconda, which came out in 1997. It's also about a group of explorers taking a boat through the jungle while being attacked by a creature who inhabits the area. On that note, I also couldn't help but think of Jaws every time they took an upward shot at a swimmer from underwater. There's even music that sounds similar to John Williams. So I'm sure Spielberg took some inspiration from this as well. It was filmed in Florida, but the shots that take place in the jungle and the sound effects really make it seem like they're in the Amazon. I'd also recommend checking out Monster Squad if you haven't already. It's a fun movie from the 80s, and perhaps the only time that all 5 of the main Universal monsters share the screen at the same time. Well guys, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so by clicking the link below. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.